I guess Mercury is still kind of retrograde for me. But in any event, hello, hello, hello. Happy Monday and welcome to another edition of the weekly Astro Forecast here in the Astro Room on YouTube. My name is Mel, your new favorite astrologer and the founder of Divine Feminine Works, where I help people unlock their divinity and discover their magic. So if you are new to the channel, welcome. And as always, if you are returning, welcome back. Speaking of the channel, this channel is everything tarot, astrology, spirituality, and manifestation. So if those are the things you like, if those are the things you love, if those are the things you want to learn more about, don't forget to hit that subscribe button as well as that notification bell so you always be notified when I come out with new content. All right, my loves. So this is going to be the weekly Astro Forecast for the week of May 22nd through May 28th, 2023. All right, so let's let the good people over on Twitter know that we are live so that they can come and join us. All right, so happy Monday and happy Gemini season. This is the first full week of Gemini season. So we're in a new season. There's new energy. There is just a shift. And I'm pretty sure you feel it because Gemini energy is very mutable. It's very all over the place. And so while Taurus tends to be very fixed and very stubborn, Gemini is very fluid, it's very communicative, and it's very social. And so it's no surprise that Gemini season kind of coincides with the end of spring, beginning of summer, when everyone's kind of getting out, when everyone's starting to come out from hibernation, and when everyone's ready to mix and mingle. All right. And for anyone that is a Gemini, happy birthday. This is your season. Some of my favorite people are Geminis. Like my life is actually full of a lot of Geminis. So very, very familiar with that energy. But in any event, enjoy your season. It is your time to shine. All right. So let's see who we've got in the chat this evening. All right. We have C. Haley. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Hello, Patricia Jean. Hello, Patricia Jean. How you doing? And of course, we've got Philip Boone in the house. Thank you so much. And peace to you as well. All right, my friends. So of course, before we get into the nitty gritty, housekeeping and announcements. All right. So if you are joining me here in the live, thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate it more than you know. Please feel free to say hi on your way in and hit that like button on your way in as well. All right. And if you are catching this on the replay, thank you as well for tuning in. I sincerely hope and intend that this video gives you all of the information, the enlightenment, and the confirmation maybe that you may be seeking at this time. All right. And if you find that you discover all of this within this video, also hit that thumbs up button as well. All right. Shaylee. Okay, got it. Shaylee, hello, and thank you for tuning in. In terms of announcements, nothing really going on, just the usual. All right. And so with that being said, if you are someone who likes your horoscope, but maybe you don't like looking online, or maybe the ones you're seeing are not really hitting like that, then you'll definitely want to join my horoscope text subscription. So you would text the word Zodiac to 855-826-5544, where you will receive your weekly horoscope every Monday morning. It's quick, dirty, to the point. People seem to really like it. You can get it for your sun sign or your rising sign, or maybe you're like wanting to know what someone else's horoscope is. So whichever one you want, you can get. All right. So again, if you are interested in that, the link and the information to that will be in the description box below. And speaking of links, if you are someone who is brand spanking new to astrology, or maybe you've started studying astrology and you're like, I have no clue what's going on. It can be a lot, right? It's a lot of information to digest and to memorize. So in an effort to help you start studying, I created what I call the Astrology Basics Cheat Sheet. It's basically the quick and dirty on everything you need to know to start studying astrology, namely the planets, the houses, the zodiac signs, and the aspects. I created this 11-page PDF document that gives you a summary of all these things so you can start committing them to memory. Because regardless of what anyone says or doesn't say, astrology is definitely a science. It's also a bit of divination too and other things, but it's definitely a science. And like any science, it requires a good deal of study. So again, to help you on this learning astrology journey, I created this cheat sheet. So if you are interested in getting it, the link to that will be in the description box below. All you got to do is drop your email and you will be good to go. All right. So with that being said, let's chat. So Definitely get cozy, get comfy. We're going to talk astrology, of course, a little spirituality mingled in there as well. And then I'll be pulling cards later on for messages for us from spirit. All right. So, like I said before, we are starting Gemini season. All right. So, you're going to want to take a look at where Gemini is in your natal chart. Because the sun is now in Gemini, this area of life is going to be energized. It's going to be revitalized. You may find that depending on where this falls in your chart, you're starting to get new ideas. Maybe people are, you're meeting new people, you're talking to new people, you're learning new things. Everything about Gemini energy has this newness to it because it is the first air sign. And it's mutable. So we all know how Gemini energy is. It is mixy. It is out there. It is communicative. It's curious. It's all of those great things. And so these are sort of the qualities that we have at our disposal when the sun is in Gemini. All right. And so this is a great time to learn new things, especially specific things. So let's say you're someone who's like, listen, I really want to start making more money. Maybe this is a time to really learn a specific investment strategy, or maybe it's time to learn a specific skill or craft that you can monetize. Everything about Gemini energy is specific based knowledge, right? It's book learning. And so this is a great time to do that while the sun is in Gemini. So again, you're going to want to take a look at where Gemini is in your chart because that is where everything is going to be going down this month. All right. Let's see, what else do we have this month, or this week, I should say. So we have both Mars and Jupiter making aspects to the North Node. So there is this underlying current of strength, of courage, and of willpower. I don't know if you feel it, but I definitely feel it. It almost feels like an adrenaline rush in a sense. And that's partially because Mars recently just changed signs. Mars went into Leo just the other day. This is all about having courage. It's all about sort of finding your willpower as well. So many of us may be feeling extra amped. We may be feeling extra motivated. We just may have this surge of energy right now because Mars was in Cancer. And Mars being the fiery planet that it is, being in a water sign like Cancer, the energy was very muted. So perhaps where Cancer is in your chart, while Mars was making its way through Cancer, you may have felt like you wanted to do things, but you may not have had the motivation. Or you wanted to move forward with something, but you found that like your emotions got in the way. Or maybe it's like one day you're feeling it, the next day you're not. Like everything, your motivation really depended on your mood. And so that fire energy that Mars is super known for was very muted. Like I said, I think I said in my live last week that it's like a wet blanket being put on your plans and your motivation. And with Mars going into Leo, that wet blanket is coming off and things are heating up because Leo is a fire sign. So Mars is very comfortable in Leo, its fellow fire sign or a favorable fire sign. And Leo is all about heart. It's all about courage. It's all about willpower. So many of us may be feeling like we have this sort of resurgence of what we truly desire, or we have this resurgence of what we're really passionate about because Leo represents the heart. Like things that you really love and that you're passionate about, you may have felt kind of iffy about them while Mars was in Cancer, right? But now that Mars is in Leo, it's like those fires have been reignited and you're feeling passionate about things again. Okay, you're also going to want to look at where Leo is in your chart because this is where this is playing out for you. This may be, if it's your second house, this is all about money. If it's your seventh house, it's all about relationships, right? Especially if it's relationships, like you may have had like a lull in your relationship, especially on the sexier side of things, because Mars definitely rules the physical act of sex. So while Mars was in Cancer, especially if you've got, Leo in your Leo in your seventh house, Cancer was in your sixth house. I felt like when it came to sex, like you probably weren't feeling it like that, or really depended on your mood, or it was just a lot. It was like wanting to move forward, but feeling like emotions got in the way. And I feel like now there's this resurgence of willpower and we're feeling a lot stronger. We're ready to take risks. Okay. Here's the thing with fire energy, Mars energy in particular, and also Leo energy in particular. It's all about taking risks. Maybe a little impulsive, right? Mars definitely leaps before it looks. So some of us may be taking risks without really thinking it through. However, after this lull in energy where we were sort of lethargic or maybe even apathetic about some of the things that we wanted, this Mars and Leo energy is like literally lighting a fire under your ass to really get in tune with what you want and actually go after it. Like have the courage to go after it. It's something that you feel deeply within your heart, something that your heart truly desires. Then now is definitely the time to go for it. It's definitely time to shoot your shot. All right. And the astrology really supports that this week. Really. In all honesty. So this is probably a week where you're going to want to take some action, right? This may be, depending on where it's going down in your chart and also depending what's going on in your heart, this may be a time for you to reach out and touch someone. This may be a time to extend an olive branch. It may be a time to research something. It may be the time to pull the trigger on that business or on that investment strategy, or, embrace and embark upon your spiritual journey, whatever it is for you. I feel like, especially at the beginning of the week, it's really about taking action and tapping into your willpower. And if you find that you're still struggling with that, right? Like maybe your willpower has felt muted for a while and maybe even longer than these Mars transits, maybe the last 6 months, 8 months, whatever. You feel like your flame has only been flickering. It hasn't been really shining bright. You'll want to really engage in solar plexus work. The seat of our willpower, the fire within us, our inner light lives within our solar plexus chakra. And if your solar plexus chakra is blocked, right, perhaps maybe you've gone through some stuff that's made you feel less than confident, or you've been hurt in the past and now you feel like once bitten, twice shy, right? This is going to be the time when you're going to want to strengthen your core. Right? Mars is also physical energy. So this may be a time where you literally want to strengthen your solar plexus chakra by doing sit-ups, by doing planks, by doing core work, right? Strengthening your core, building up that confidence. That's physically. However, spiritually and energetically, this may be a time to maybe indulge in some Reiki, maybe even just get a massage, or even just do any sort of physical activity to get that energy moving. That stagnant energy may just be circulating all up in there, and you're going to want to get that moving. All right. So this is a time to really claim what's yours, figure out what you want and claim it. And again, I feel like the astrology really supports that this week. Now let's talk about Mars. But come Saturday, we have Jupiter conjunct the North Node, and this is kind of a big deal. This is going to be faith, fortune, good stuff coming, and this is sort of how we're going to end the month and segue into June. All right, but I'm definitely getting ahead of myself. Let's reel it back in and sort of start at the beginning. So let's talk about the highlights and see what we got for the week. So first up, we have what I like to call swift kick to the ass, all right? And this is going to be Mars square Jupiter. This is that fire lighting under your ass, right? So we have Mars that just went into Leo. We've got Jupiter that just went into Taurus, all right? Now think about it, right? It's like Jupiter in Taurus, it's steady, it's stable. Think of that bull, right? Just sort of standing there in its glory, like sort of not moving, very stubborn. And here comes Mars, and it's just like it's almost like when they brand the cows and that sizzle, and it really gets them going and it really gets them angry. Like that's exactly what this transit is like. So you're going to want to take a look at where Leo is in your chart and Taurus. These are the two areas of life where you may be getting a swift kick in the ass, or you're going to be feeling energetic or pumped up or motivated about something. And it's likely something that you've probably been feeling kind of or meh about lately. All right. So that's going to be really interesting. But regardless of what happens, I feel like the point of this transit, or the benefit of this transit, is that it builds confidence, character, and willpower. So this is what I was talking about before, that solar plexus work, regaining your confidence. I think that the universe is going to give you opportunities this week to do that. All right. So forewarned is forearmed. All right. The next up, we have what I like to call surprise. And this is going to be Venus sextile Uranus. Okay. And this is going down on Friday. Now, some people really don't like surprises, right? Some people don't like to get rattled, whether it's good or bad. However, because this is a sextile, I feel like this is more of a positive kind of surprise. And anytime you've got a Venus sextile Uranus, this is finding unexpected money. This could be unexpected windfalls of money. It could be meeting new people. It could be new relationships. It could be like a great thing unexpectedly happening in a relationship. It's just nice, pleasant surprises that would feel good to you. Okay, so we have that to look forward to going into the weekend. And then finally, we have what I like to call iron sharpens iron. And this is going to be the Sun square Saturn, which is going down on Sunday. So this is going to be a little bit of a rough patch. All right. However, anytime we have Saturn in the mix, it's all about building character. Saturn tests us, right? In order to build character, in order to be able to handle responsibilities, in order to shape us into who we are meant to be, Saturn's got to take us through the school of hard knocks. And so I feel like going into next week, we may be met with challenges, obstacles, delays, or we may just be met with resistance, right? And remember, iron sharpens iron. All depends on how you look at things, right? But this is a transit and an opportunity to sort of level up. All right. That's the best way to look at it. So those are the highlights. Let's take a look at what we've got going on for the week. So today we've got Sun sextile Mars. So this particular transit really builds into what I was saying before about the willpower and, desires and passion and all of that stuff and fire being lit under your ass, right? All of that is really going to be apparent to us. Anytime you have the sun in a transit, it's all about clarity. Anything that's in the sun is out in the open. It's the truth revealed, right? It's the essence of something and it's not hidden. It's right there in plain sight. And so I feel like when it comes to what we desire, when it comes to our primal desires, our base desires, the things that we really want to achieve, that we're passionate, that we're hot for, I feel like there's a moment of clarity today under this transit where you know exactly what you want and you have the willpower to go after it. All right. So if that's how you're feeling, you should definitely take advantage of that today. Then tomorrow we have Mars square Jupiter, like I was talking about before, that swift kick to the ass that many of us are going to be receiving, which again is also a good thing. It may be kicking us into gear. It may be getting our attention, or it may just be reigniting a flame that may have been kind of dying out. All right. Then on Wednesday, we've got Venus square Chiron, Mars square the North Node, and the moon moving into Leo. All right. Venus square Chiron. Yeah, it's going to be one of those transits where, emotions are involved, and maybe emotional wounds and traumas may come up, or they may not. But either way, I'm almost positive that you're equipped to deal with them. And then Mars square the North Node, right? This is about your desires and your willpower and sort of where you're supposed to go. And maybe those might be a source of contention. Maybe those two things may be going in opposite directions. And it may sort of jumpstart you in terms of where you're sort of meant to go, right? So I feel like we've got fire being lit under our asses. We're being branded, right? With that Mars square Jupiter. We're getting kicked in the ass, and it's like we're getting a jump start. All right. So I wouldn't be surprised if maybe your nerves are even feeling a little rattled right now, or maybe you're feeling this sort of energy sort of coming up to the surface. So you may viscerally be feeling this. But again, I feel like this week is that week where we're kicking shit into high gear. All right. Then on Friday, we've got Venus sextile Uranus. That's that surprise, that good stuff coming through unexpectedly, and the moon moving into Virgo. Then Saturday, I want you to put a gold star next to Saturday because Jupiter conjunct the North Node in Taurus. Pretty big deal, and it's bringing a lot of great stuff. And then we end the week on Sunday with the Sun square Saturn, which is just an opportunity to level up and build up our characters. All right. So without further ado, let's get into it and see what we've got for this week. All right, my love. So today, like I mentioned before, we've got the sun newly in Gemini. So the sun is at 1 degree Gemini. You'll see that at the top left-hand portion of the chart. And it's going to be sextile to Mars, which is newly in Leo, which is going to be at 1 degree Leo. All right. So Sun sextile Mars, okay? There's this element of energy. There's this element of physical vitality, of life force energy, of confidence, and of physical strength, okay? This is, I feel like I keep using these examples. It's like, it's not a swift kick to the ass. I want to say that this is more like a jump start, right? Like, you know, when your car's battery goes dead and you need the jumper cables to jump start that battery, that's exactly what this is, okay? But here's the thing. When your battery dies, it's not just going to magically start itself, or it's not going to magically jump itself. It's not going to magically replace itself. You have to physically do it. You have to take an effort to recharge that battery or replace that battery, right? That's the thing with sextiles. Sextiles are positive so long as you take advantage of the energy, so long as you're willing to put in a little effort. That's when you're going to see a positive outcome, all right? So this is about having the physical energy to do things, right? Sun is all about our life force energy, and Mars is all about physical strength. So you may find that you have increased energy, which could also affect your sleep. You may find that sleeping is a little more difficult under this transit because your mind may be racing, your body may be alert, you know, you're just really on go mode. This is a great time to not only start new projects, but it's also a great time to tackle any tasks that you may have neglected, or maybe in the past you thought they were too hard, or maybe in the past you were a bit lazy and didn't want to do them. Like, take advantage. Like, while you have this energy, just do it. Like Nike says, just do it. All right. When it comes to what you want, or when it comes to maybe even what you don't want, there's this element of directness that Mars has. And so with Sun sextile Mars, this can allow you to directly attack your goals. It's like, this isn't about beating around the bush. It's not about, taking the long scenic route. This is like the most direct route from point A to point B is what's going to serve you at this time. So what that means is, when it comes to the things that you desire, when it comes to the things that you want, because again, Mars rules our primal desires, right? Our passions. This is about the path of least resistance. This is about the most direct way. If you've got something to say to somebody, say it and don't beat around the bush. If you want to ask for something, same thing, be direct. Don't beat around the bush, right? Like, this is the time to be extremely direct, okay? There's also this energy of sexual energy, right? So there's a heightened sexual energy. There's this heightened sexual attraction right now. So maybe that's something that you want to tap into, if that's, something that you want at this time. But by and large, and I wrote this all in caps and in bold, your strongest and most primal desires can be fulfilled. So you should not be shy about grabbing them with both hands. I'm going to repeat that again. Your strongest and most primal desires can be fulfilled. All right. And I want you to notice the word can. The word can is there because you're going to have to put forth a little effort. It may not just fall into your lap. You've got to decide to turn the knob and open the door. Okay. And in doing so, your most strongest and primal desires will be fulfilled. And don't be shy about grabbing them with both hands. This isn't the time to think about, oh, what is so-and-so going to think? Or let me ask so-and-so if they agree with what I'm doing, or what. No, be unapologetic in what you want, and be even more unapologetic in going after it. All right. Again, I feel like this is a lot of clarity with respect to what we want. So some of us may already know what we want, and this is going to give our batteries that jump so that we can actually turn on the car and go and get it. For others of us, this may be a point where you just become aware of what it is that you want, aware of what's in your heart, aware of that strongest and most primal desire. Okay, so either way, both of those are good. Just make sure that you use the energy and definitely don't waste it. All right. So let's keep it moving. All right, so tomorrow we've got Mars square Jupiter, okay? And so Mars, again, newly in Leo at 1 degree Leo. You'll see that at the left-hand portion of the chart. And then we've got Jupiter newly in Taurus, which is also at 1 degree of Taurus. I want you to notice something. We've got Jupiter, we've got the Sun, we've got Mars. All three planets are in basically perfect alignment. So again, you're going to want to break out your natal chart and see where this is going down, because this is where there's going to be a lot of dynamic action. Anytime you have Mars, it's physical action, it's physical happenings. And in conjunction, let me not say conjunction because they're not in conjunction in astrology speak. All of these planets are aligned at the same exact degree. And so this is clarity, this is motion, this is abundance. I almost want to say that if you will take some action, especially action that you are very clear on and passionate about, that is where you're going to find your abundance. That's where you're going to find good fortune. That's when the universe is going to bless you, right? So this is a week to take action. And if you're not taking action, I feel like the way that these transits are and the way that the universe works, again, it's going to be like a swift kick to the ass, or fire under that ass, or maybe you're being branded in the ass, or maybe you're being jump started or shocked. Like all of these things are possible, and not in a bad way, right? It all depends on how we look at things. And I'm about to go into a little segue right now, so get comfortable. Like I said before, right? A lot of times we don't like surprises, whether good or bad. We don't like to be rattled. We don't like to be jostled out of our place. For some, we feel like we've worked so hard to get to this place, we don't want to be moved, right? And life is about movement. We are moving constantly. We are made of cells that are constantly moving. We are made of atoms that are constantly moving. There's literally nothing that is still. There's nothing that is not movable, okay? But it's all about how you look at things. Sometimes what we deem as the worst situations, or the situations that hurt the most, or the situations that just feel like a punch to the gut, are really wake-up calls. Or they're, again, like a swift kick to the ass. It doesn't mean that what's happening is going to happen forever. It just shows you where you're at right now. Long story short, and I'm not going to go into this in depth because otherwise this video or this live would be like 4 hours long. But what you're seeing now is a result of past thoughts. So what you're seeing in the 3D, what you perceive that you can touch, feel, anything that you can perceive with your senses is actually past thoughts. So you're looking at the past right now. You're literally looking at the past. What's now is already done. The future is still unwritten, and anything can change at the drop of a dime. You have to believe that. And so when you're seeing something that jostles you, something that surprises you, and maybe not in a good surprise, it's just showing you old shit. In that moment, it's time for you to be like, you know what? That's done. That's over with. What am I going to do next? What do I want to see? What do I want to create? And focus on that. So whether this swift kick in the ass is a moment of clarity, or it's something that hurts, or something that is difficult to deal with, understand that it will not last forever. Feel how you're going to feel about it, and then drop it, because you've got shit to create. You've got stuff to do. You've got a whole life ahead of you to create in the way that you want it. Okay? So whatever transpires, take it with a grain of salt and just keep it moving. All right? So with Mars square Jupiter, this is very much about starting new projects, okay? And Jupiter is in conjunction range to the North Node. And the North Node is all about new opportunities. So this is really a time to start something new, okay? It's very, fortune favors the bold, right? It's very reminiscent of when Jupiter was in Aries. Aries is ruled by Mars, okay? And so this is about starting something new. Now, because Jupiter is currently in Taurus, this is where you may be feeling stuck, right? Like Jupiter in Taurus is like feeling that if you stick to what you're doing, if you stick to what you know, that's how you're going to make money or have abundance or be fulfilled or be happy, right? But that Mars in Leo was like, that Mars in Leo was like, no, I think there's more. I think there's something that we should explore. I think that we should really follow our heart here. Okay. Because that Taurus energy, it's all about the tried and true. It's all about, listen, this is what's worked in the past. I'm going to stick to that. This is what everyone else is doing. I'm going to stick to that. It may not be what I truly want, but it's stable. And so maybe that's what I should be doing. And Mars in Leo was like, nope, we got to follow our heart on this one. And so that's where you may feel the tension. You may feel the tension between wanting to do something new that you really love and maybe even having the courage to do it, but maybe feeling stuck. Maybe your situation isn't conducive to trying something new. Maybe the people around you are keeping you stuck, or maybe you feel like you're in some sort of holding pattern, right? And so this is really about having the courage to push past your comfort zone, because that is where your abundance lies, okay? There's some textbook sort of explanations for this particular transit, but I really think that's the essence of it. I feel like on the one hand, you may want to be quite risky, because Mars and Leo, that's all about taking risks and taking risk in a very impulsive way, like definitely leaping before you look. However, I feel like that Jupiter in Taurus is really going to keep you a bit grounded. So I would say don't be afraid if you feel the urge to do something. I feel like you should do it, right? You may not want to be completely reckless, right? Like you don't want to have disregard for life and limb or anything like that. But I do feel like that Jupiter in Taurus is going to keep you a bit grounded. So I feel like it's going to work out regardless. All right. But I do definitely feel like it's going to be that swift kick to the ass, and it may be good. It's going to be good. Let me not even put any negativity on it. It's going to be good. So definitely take advantage and push past your comfort zone. Don't be afraid to follow your heart and push past your comfort zone. All right, let's keep it moving. All right, so on Wednesday, we've got Venus square to Chiron. So Venus is at 18 degrees Cancer, and Chiron is at 18 degrees Aries. All right. Then we also have Mars square the North Node. Mars is or will be at 2 degrees of Leo, and the North Node is around 2-3 degrees of Taurus, and then the Moon is going to be moving into Leo. All right, so first, Venus square Chiron. Venus square Chiron can present itself in a variety of ways, but one of the ways that it typically presents itself is like feeling like you have to prove yourself to others, feeling like people doubt you, or feeling like people aren't necessarily looking at you in the best light, and feeling like you have to gain their approval or show them that you can do something, especially when it comes to relationships. This may be with an intimate partner, this may be with friends, whomever, but feeling like, I'm not even going to say, I don't think it's necessarily like insecurity. Well, it could be insecurity playing into that as well, but it's more so like you don't think that people may think that you don't love them enough, or maybe you feel like people don't love you enough, feeling like you have to prove yourself, your character, your love, all of that. These are the kind of issues that typically come up with this particular transit. Okay. But here's the thing. Anytime we have a Chiron aspect or a Chiron transit, it's really an opportunity to heal your emotional wounds. So if you do feel triggered by this particular transit, and maybe you don't, maybe this is not an issue for you, right? But if it is, it's time to figure out why. Like, why do you feel like you need to prove yourself to others? Or what does this stem from? So anytime there's a Chiron transit, it's really an opportunity to go within, and it's really a time to do some healing. Okay. And this is about two things with this, right? Understand that you are worthy in and of yourself. You're worthy merely because you exist. So there's no such thing as having to prove yourself to someone. That is just ego masking the situation and having you feel like you need to protect yourself or avoid some sort of situation. So you feel like you have to be on the defensive. You feel like you have to prove yourself, but that is not true. Okay. And also the other way that this can kind of play out is that you feel like you have to suck up to people. Like you feel like you have to do people pleasing because that's what's going to pacify this feeling, right? If someone feels like you need to prove yourself to them, then it kind of lends itself to you sucking up to them and appeasing them, right? So that you can have peace and harmony in this relationship. And also understand that that is not a healthy pattern either, because you have nothing to prove to anybody. You are worthy in and of yourself for merely existing. Okay. And so this may be a situation, if you find that you're triggered, if you find that this transit affects you, if you find that, midweek you have these sort of feelings or you have these sort of questions, it's definitely a time to go within. Okay. Love is free. Love is given freely. Anytime it comes with conditions, restrictions, having to prove yourself, that's not a healthy form of love. So keep that in mind if this is something that pertains to you when this particular transit comes up. Now, you may be feeling this already, or this may be exhibiting itself in your relationships. And if that is the case, this is just the time to really just go within. That's all it is. You don't have to take what you're seeing and experiencing as reality. Because in all honesty, if this is what you're dealing with, it's not reality. It's just this veil that your ego has put up that is preventing you from seeing things as they truly are. And the way that things truly are, or the way that things truly are, is that love is given freely. You don't have to prove yourself to anyone. You don't have to suck up to anyone in order to get love or to have peace and harmony. Those things flow freely. All right. So again, take that as an opportunity to just do some inner work and heal yourself. Okay. The next up, we've got Mars square the North Node. And, it's funny because I put these notes together like right after I do the live. So these notes I did last week, and I can't tell you how many times I really said like, oh, this is going to kick you into high gear. This is going to trigger you into doing something. This is going to light a fire under your ass. And Mars square the North Node is that. But the way this sort of plays out is that, there's this path of least resistance. There's this destiny, if you will, right, as represented by the North Node. It's new opportunities for growth and expansion. And your desires may be somewhat contrary to that. Okay. Maybe you are in a very sort of selfish headspace, because here's the thing. Leo energy can be a little selfish, and especially with Mars and Leo, this is all about you, what you want. It's like Mars and Leo is like you are the star of the show, and it doesn't matter about anyone else. Everyone else is the supporting cast. Everyone's just here for you, right? And that selfishness may be a little antithetical to sort of the path of least resistance or the path of where you want to go. This could also be like you trying to force things. Maybe you know exactly where you want to go, right? And the thing with the North Node is that it's sort of like it's the universe. It's the universe's hand in everything, sort of guiding you and ordering your steps to where you need to go. But that Mars energy, it's like you're trying to force shit, or you're trying to control things, or you're really trying to make it happen, or you're like, like this is how you're approaching it. And the universe is like, yo, what are you doing? You really look like you're about to pop a blood vessel. Like, calm the fuck down. And so this is how this particular transit may present itself. All right. And regardless, whatever shows up, whether in your reality, right, in your reality, or feeling wise, whatever you feel, whatever emotions come up, it's really just information to show you where you are, right? It's just showing you where you are. You can just take it at face value and keep it moving. But I feel like this may also be that kick in the ass you need to get you right on track. Okay. So take it with that. And this is also a transit where you may not want to be so impulsive. You may not want to leap before you look. And also, feeling like you're in competition with people and competing with people and wanting to get over on people and feeling like you have to win may also not really work with this transit, because we're working with the North Node. And the North Node it's almost like that Uranus energy. It's a bit unstable. It's a bit unpredictable, but it's also like the hand of God. It's like the universe doing its thing. And so energy matches energy. And if you approach this on some, I'm better than you, I need to beat you, I need to beat this situation, or confronting people and being really rude and mean and selfish, that's the shit that you're going to get back. And that may not be what you want, and it may not be where you want to go. So be mindful of not only how you approach these situations, but also how you approach people as well. Now, anytime you're talking about Mars, you're talking about confrontation. And this isn't to say that you shouldn't confront people that wrong you. Like if someone disrespects you or anything like that, this is definitely the time to stand up for yourself. However, don't try to do things in underhanded ways, or don't feel like you need to control every aspect of every little thing. This is really about sort of letting go, letting God, and remembering what is in your heart, remembering what you are passionate about. Be committed to that. Be amped and motivated to pursue that. And that is how you're going to be able to sort of conquer this particular transit. All right. And then finally, on Wednesday, we've got the moon moving into Leo, which is nice because anytime the moon moves into Leo, we have this childlike energy at our disposal. Okay. We can have fun, be lighthearted, do things that bring us joy, be childlike, engage in entertainment and sports. All those things that feel good are, par for the course when the moon is in Leo. Now, keep in mind that Mars is in Leo. And so the moon is going to pass over Mars. So don't be surprised if maybe you feel this surge of anger or you feel this surge of aggression. The moon is going to amplify however you are feeling, especially if you're feeling things like anger, resentment, rage, all of those things. So this may be a time where people might pop off. This may be a time where people will be really in their feelings. This may be a time where people are going to be hella selfish, all about me. I'm the star. You're the stage crew. Why are you talking to me like that? All of that shit, right? It's not to say that that's going to happen, but it is a possibility. So you're going to want to be mindful of that. And if that's the case, anytime there's anger, anytime there's a buildup of energy, anytime there's tension, the best way to release that is through physical activity. All right. So you may want to exercise. You may want to go for a run to blow off some steam. You may want to have sex, right? But in a very consensual and, however kind of way. This isn't like, on some violent type shit. But you're going to want to release that energy. So do something lighthearted, do something that you like, create something. If you paint or do anything with your hands, you may want to do that to release some tension and cool down. All right. So keep all of those things in mind. I feel like Wednesday is going to be quite the interesting day. All right. Let's keep it moving. All right, so then on Friday, we've got Venus sextile Uranus, like I mentioned before, and the moon moving into Virgo. So Venus is going to be at 20 degrees Cancer. We've got Uranus at 19-20 degrees of Taurus, and then we have the moon in Virgo at 0 degrees. All right, so like I mentioned before, Venus sextile Uranus is surprises. And in this particular instance, I think it's going to be rather pleasant surprises. And surprises typically having to do with relationships, money, attraction, fairness, all that kind of stuff. So this may have you feeling like you want to do something fun and exciting, especially if you feel like you've been in a rut, especially if you feel like you've had a long week. Friday is going to be a great day to do something out of the ordinary. It's going to be a time to maybe unexpectedly hang out with friends, maybe call someone you haven't called in a long time and link up, those kind of things. It may also have you feeling restless. So this may be a time where you want to do new things because you just have this restless energy that needs some form of expression, right? So anything creative is a great, tension releaser, right? You may want to, go to the movies or, just chill or whatever, whatever floats your boat. I feel like Friday's going to be a great day to do that. Here's the thing. Uranus is also about flashes of insight. So when it comes to anything creative, when it comes to anything regarding relationships, when it comes to anything regarding money, this may be a flash of insight, an aha moment that's like, wow, okay. Now remember, because it's a sextile, it just means that the opportunity is available. It's not just necessarily going to fall in your lap. Although the flash of insight may be instant, it's going to be up to you to use the information that you just gained in order to make beneficial use of the energy. So you're definitely going to want to think of that. This is talking to people you've never talked to before, interesting people. You may find that you are engaged in like very different conversations than you normally are. And those might have it might have a divine purpose behind it. Maybe there's some information that you need or that's pertinent to you, but the way you've been moving, it can't quite find you. And so if you feel this urge to do something different on Friday, then do it. I love these type of transits because it's like you allow the universe to surprise you. You allow the universe to sort of take the wheel and make things happen. Okay, so follow your urges. Try not to be too inhibited. Of course, you don't want to be too reckless either, but you're going to want to have a good time, express yourself, do something out of the ordinary. And this particular transit most definitely supports that. Then we have the moon in Virgo. So this is going to be at the same time feeling like you want to break away. And, that Venus sextile Uranus is like doing something out of the norm, right? But then the moon in Virgo is like, oh, but we've got responsibilities. Oh, but this is our routine. So some of you may feel like you want to do something differently, but you may feel a little stuck. You may feel like, I don't know. I don't usually do this on Fridays, or I don't usually do this on the weekend, or I haven't really talked to this person. Well, I don't know if I should. So you may feel that like you're being pulled in two different directions. Great for reorganizing, great for cleaning, great for going over things. I feel like Moon in Virgo is always great for cleaning in particular, whether it is your mind, whether it's your space, whether it's anything. Like just clean up, get tidy, and just put things in order. Put things in order. And I feel like you'll feel good. But also, I wouldn't sacrifice going out to spend the night in cleaning, unless that's what you really want to do. But, if you find that you're like, okay, I'm going to do this tonight and organize this, and then someone calls you and was like, yo, let's go get a drink real quick. Like, go for it. You never know what could happen. That's usually the universe at work, trying to bring you something good or bring you something different. All right. So be open and receptive to those kind of things. All right. Let's keep it moving. All right. So then on Saturday, I want you to put a gold star next to this because it is Jupiter conjunct the North Node in Taurus. All right. And you'll see both are at 2 or 3 degrees. I can't really see in Taurus. All right. And like I said before, this is kind of a big deal. Enough cannot be said about the energy of Jupiter. So if you're studying astrology, the phrase that you typically, or the words that you typically associate with Jupiter are abundance, expansion, and growth. Cool. So much more than that. It's faith, it's optimism, it's good fortune, it's happiness, right? It is almost, the energy of Jupiter is so large that it encompasses like your higher self, the higher octave of you, okay? And when it conjuncts the North Node, this is all about destiny, but it's not about destiny seeing it from the ground level. This is about seeing destiny, the bigger picture, right? It's about favorable circumstances, and it's mostly about faith. Trust and faith are super huge when it comes to Jupiter. And it's almost like if you will have the trust and the faith in God, universe, source, whatever you call it, to order your steps and direct you to where you need to go, right? And it's not to say that you're giving yourself up to an external force. This is all within. So you're really asking yourself to have faith in yourself, to order your own steps so you can go where you need to go. That is how you will get it. That is where you will find your abundance. That is where the magic happens. That is where everything that you want, everything that makes you happy is found. And what I love about this is that this is going down in Taurus. So this isn't just having faith and then hoping one day to see it. This is about it actually being tangible in your face. Like you can touch it, you can feel it. So all I will say for this is that it's the divine working its magic. And this is the time to really go within. So whether it's meditating, whether it's praying, whether it's setting your intentions, you're going to want to do that because it's like they will be answered. I mean, they'll be answered regardless, right? But this is sort of the transit where you're going to see it. You're going to see semblances of it, or you're going to see the whole thing. You're going to get what you want. You just have to have the trust and the faith in God and in yourself, and you're Gucci. So do that. This week, get very clear on what it is that you want, right? And I feel like the astrology, I think I've talked about it ad nauseum about how the astrology is going to get you clear on what you want and kick you in the ass to actually go for it. But remember that it's a tag team kind of thing. We do this in conjunction with the divine. And so I feel like Jupiter conjunct the North Node, this is like, listen, this is what I want. This is in my heart. God, higher self, whoever you talk to, this is what I want. Let's make this happen. And God is like, bet, I got you. All right, let's go. That's exactly what this is. That's exactly what's going on this week in a nutshell. I feel like I could have made this live like 5 minutes if I just said that. But that's essentially what is going on this week. So you would be literally a fool to not take advantage of this. If you're not clear on what you want, get clear. If you're clear on what you want, get confident. And if you're confident, let go. That's all you got to do. Let go and it'll come. And that's that on that. All right, let's keep it moving. All right. And then we end the week with the Sun square Saturn. So the Sun is going to be at 6 degrees Gemini and Saturn is going to be at 6 degrees Pisces. All right. So this is the transit that may be a little rough. It may be a little rough and tumble because anytime you have Saturn in the mix, it's the school of hard knocks. Saturn represents obstacles, challenges, delays, and things like that. And when the Sun is square Saturn, you almost become painfully obvious. Or let me say this, the challenges, the obstacles, the delays, they become painfully obvious. And what's interesting about this is that the Sun is in Gemini and Saturn is in Pisces. This is mental blocks on your conscious that may be affecting your subconscious. These are conflicts in your mind that may play out in your subconscious. So you're going to want to be extremely vigilant with respect to how you think, whether it's about yourself, whether it's about life, whether it's about people or situations. You're also going to be what? I'm like so tongue-tied right now. You should also be very vigilant about what you are ingesting in terms of social media, in terms of television, in terms of what you're reading, who you're talking to, because your thoughts become things, right? But if you've got some wonky shit going on, if you're ingesting some bad stuff, if you are repeating old stories that are just not true, that's what's going to manifest. Okay. And so that's when like the rubber is going to hit the road. And that's when you're going to be like, why isn't this working? What am I not doing? Why is it that I want this, but this is what is showing up? It's because there's a disconnect. And I feel like the saving grace of this particular transit is that the Sun clarifies everything. It brings everything to light. So you're going to be aware of what these obstacles are. This isn't where you've got hidden enemies or you've got something going on that you have no idea what it is. You are going to be aware of what is going on and what's not working. And in doing so, in having the wherewithal, number one, and the discipline, number two, in order to tackle these obstacles, that is how you're going to get past this. Now, here's the thing. That's sort of the esoteric explanation. But the way that this can play out is that you may have someone in your life, and because we're talking about Sun and Saturn, it may likely be a male. It may likely be an authority figure, so maybe like a father figure, a boss, or someone like that who challenges you, or who's showing you what you don't want in your reality, or who's making you feel a certain way, whether that is, they're criticizing you, or they're not giving you praise, or they are, I wouldn't say abuse. I don't necessarily think that abuse is one of the things that falls under this particular transit, but it's just like someone may just be criticizing you or giving you a whole bunch of responsibility and not offering assistance or just making things difficult for you. Okay. But that's really uh it's really just what's going on in your mind and in your subconscious that's playing out. That's all that is. Especially because the sun is in Gemini and Saturn is in Pisces. So it's really important. And one of the things of Saturn and Pisces, and Saturn is going to be in Pisces for a minute, so get comfortable with what I'm about to say. You've got to order your inner world. Your inner world is what is responsible for your outer world. So if your inner world is diseased, and I don't necessarily mean physically, although emotional and spiritual turmoil do in turn into physical disease, right? But if your inner world is not, if your old story is running rampant, if you're running an outdated program that doesn't serve you, if your software got a virus or anything of that sort, now is the time to have the diligence and the discipline, right? Those two words, diligence and discipline, have everything to do with Saturn energy. Diligence and discipline to correct that, to make it better, to install a new program that only reflects what you truly desire. It is your job to do that. That is what the work entails. And that work is not necessarily easy. If you're watching this video, I'm pretty sure that you are somewhere on a spiritual journey. Whether you just started or whether you've been in the game for a minute and you're a veteran, that deprogramming in order to upload a new program is challenging. It requires you to unlearn a lot of the things that you've learned, a lot of the things that have been staples in your life. You're like, yeah, this doesn't make sense. This doesn't make sense anymore. It doesn't serve me. I'm not seeing what I want to see in my reality. So I got to trash that. And uploading a new program, it's not even like you're uploading a new program. You are developing the program. You are writing the program and uploading it. And for some, at times, this feels like such a daunting task, doesn't it? Because that old program just doesn't want to go. That old program is still running and you see wonky shit every so often, or you're feeling this or whatever. And you're just like, having that new program completely eradicate the old one, that takes work. And it's continuous work. It's not the case that, there will be a time where most of that old program is gone and you're running on that new program. But you have to have the diligence to constantly reinstall that new program, constantly reinstall it. That is what the essence of Saturn and Pisces is, among other things, right? But in terms of this particular transit, be mindful of what you're thinking. And whatever shows up in your reality, it's not only is it the past, not only is it not real, but it's to build your character. For some, this may be the kick in the ass that you need to start tinkering with your new program, to start developing your new program, to start uploading your new program. So don't buy into the outer circumstances that are kicking you in the ass. It's literally just to jumpstart you. And that goes for everything this week. It doesn't matter what happens. This is just information to show you where you're at so that you can get to where you need to go. All right. And so take a deep breath. All right. Breathe in, breathe out, relax, be still, and know you are God. So there's nothing you can't do. There's nothing you can't have. There's nothing that you can't be. And everything, the astrology, the circumstances, everything is just facilitating that for you. Doesn't matter how ugly it looks. Doesn't matter how painful it is. It is facilitating the best for you if you will allow it to. All right. So that's what we got for the astrology for this coming week. All right. So now I'm going to be pulling cards for messages from Spirit. As always, I do these by signs, but whatever message resonates with you, pick it up. If something doesn't resonate with you, then it's not for you, right? So this could be your sun, moon, rising, north node, Jupiter, Venus, whatever. Whatever makes sense for you, makes sense for you. All right. So as always, we will start with Aries. So let's see what we have for Aries this week. All right, Aries, we've got the King of Cups. So this could be someone who is coming your way. I feel like this person is, I'm not going to say they're muting your energy, but I do think that they have a lot to show you about how to control your emotions. Now, the one thing I love about Aries energy is that anger needs to be expressed, and Aries has no problem doing that, right? But sometimes that energy needs to be tempered. And I feel like you are going to be met, I don't want to say with resistance, but I do feel like someone is going to be helping you transmute that anger into something else. And this is someone who has a very good handle on their emotions. This is someone who has mastered their emotions. This is someone who knows how to ride the wave of emotions. And I feel like they may test you, right? This may be someone that helps you outright, but it also may be someone that challenges you or tests you. And in doing so, they are showing you how to master your emotions. So keep your eyes open and glean whatever lesson you can from it. Don't just be like, yo, this person's a dick or this person's an asshole. I can't believe they did this or said this to me. Watch how they attack this situation and learn from it, because there's a lot that you can gain from watching this person, listening to this person, or taking this person's advice. All right. So let's move on to Taurus. See what we got for Taurus for this week. All right, Taurus. I heard dream a little dream, but Taurus, your dream is big. Your dream is big and you're like waiting for it. You're in this space of expectation. And I get the sense that you're confident about it too with this 3 of Wands. Like you've done the work and you're like, yo, this dream, this thing, I'm just waiting for it to happen. Now, here's the thing with the 3 of Wands. It's very much about expectation, but sometimes we got to meet the ships halfway. So I want you to take a look. He's sort of on a cliff and he's looking out at the ocean. You see these ships over here. They're all the way out there. Sometimes we've got to meet the ships halfway. Sometimes it's not just about waiting for the ship to come to dock. Sometimes we got to kind of go out there and grab it. Remember I said with, let me see what transit it was. Sun sextile Mars, right? Your strongest and most primal desires can be fulfilled. So you should not be shy about grabbing them with both hands. Taurus, there's something that you may need to grab with both hands. It's not just about sitting and waiting for it to come into your lap. Go and grab that shit. It's yours. It's yours already. It's literally heading to you. Like if you want to take a look, this ship, it's on its way to you. Okay. So it's not that, don't feel like, oh, I shouldn't go after it because maybe it'll swim away. No, maybe it'll sail away. No, it's coming right at you. So go and grab your shit. Go take your shit. Go claim your shit. It's yours already. But maybe you just need to get off your ass a little bit and go get it. All right? Just saying. But yeah, go get it. All right. Next up, we've got Gemini. Let's see. All right, Gemini, we've got the 5 of Wands. Some of you are like battling. Like I feel like you're battling other people and you're battling yourself. You may be in a situation of competition. So you may be literally competing for something. But others of you, you feel like everyone's your competition. It's almost like you feel like you got to take everybody's head off. Like I get this very aggressive energy from you, Gemini. It's either you want something and you're like, I have to beat everyone else out to get it. Or this is how your inner world is looking. Like you want something, but it's like you're fighting your own demons here. And one of the things that I said earlier, right? And I'm looking for the exact thing. Mars square North Node. Now, keep in mind, North Node is all about destiny, okay? Destiny is yours. It's got your name on it already. Similar to Taurus, where the ship is coming to you, okay? But you don't have to buy into competition. You don't have to compete for what's yours. So this energy is not serving you right now. And I get the sense that you feel that. You may feel lethargic. You may feel burnt out. But what's yours is yours. You don't have to fight for it. And if there's something truly in your heart and you feel like you're battling your demons with this, you need to quiet your mind. You need to get quiet and clear. And the best way to do that, meditation and prayer. All right. But you don't have to fight for what's yours. You don't have to try so hard. You don't have to take everyone's head out. What's yours is yours is yours. It was yours, is yours, will always be yours. So No need for competition or to be in a competitive spirit. All right. Next up, we've got Cancer. Let's see what we've got for Cancer. All right, Cancer. I'm hearing I spy with my little eye. Y'all are looking at something. Some of you, I feel like some of you are bracing yourselves for something. Almost like, you know what I'm getting? You know, like when you've had an argument with someone and then like days later you'll be in the shower and you're saying in your head what you should have said during the argument, or, you know, what you should have said. Or for some of you, like you're practicing what you're going to say. You're looking at a situation. You're like, okay, what am I going to say? How do I think about this? What do I say to this person? Don't overthink it. Some of you are too much in your head right now. You guys are the queens and kings of feeling and emotion. So tap into your heart space. Allow your heart to do the talking for you. Some of you are too much like trying to do mental chess. Like if I say this, they're going to say that. Or if I do this, maybe they'll say that. And Spirit is like, whoa, 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 whoa. Like, nah, chill. Drop into your heart space and allow your heart to do the talking, and everything will work out just fine. Be yourself. That overthinking, I mean, we all have the propensity to overthink at different times and in different situations, regardless of our sign, right? But Cancer, that overthinking is not typically you. You guys are typically very comfortable with your emotions. So do that. Again, drop into your heart space and allow your heart to do the talking. All right. Now we are up to Leo. Oh, Leo, the lovers. All right. Some of you, the things I'm hearing right now are so funny. Some of you are like, I'm hearing grandstanding. I'm hearing like, some of you really want a relationship, and I'm just going to be completely honest with what I'm hearing, but y'all want it for some really superficial reasons. Y'all want to be on stage, parading in front of people. This goes to what I was saying before about having to prove yourself in relationships. Some of you feel like you need to be in a relationship to prove to other people that you're worthy or that you've got your life on track or something like that. But you're wanting a relationship to show everybody like, oh, look at us. Like, oh, this is us. We're doing this. It's all this us, us, us. But what is the us really for? Is this something that you truly want in your heart for you? Or is this a reaction to how other people make you feel or how you want to keep up with the Joneses? Like, this is going to be a week where you get very clear on this and why you want this and the motivation behind it. Okay. Everything is a choice, and the Lover's card is indicative of choice. You may be choosing someone, you may be choosing a situation, but why? Why are you choosing it? And most importantly, what is in your heart? What is in your heart may be very different to what this looks like or what you think it should look like. So you as well need to drop into your heart space and understand why you want this, why you have it, what purpose does this serve you? And most importantly, what you want to do with it moving forward. Because you have the choice to move in either direction, but understand that there are consequences to the choices that we make. All right. Next up, we've got Virgo. Let's see what we've got for Virgo. All right, Virgo, you've got two. Virgo, this is your card. This is the Sun in Virgo card. All right, so y'all are working as usual. I wouldn't expect anything less from you guys. You guys are perfecting your craft, doing things in perfect fashion. So this week is going to be relatively busy for you in terms of work, in terms of getting things together. And I get the sense that you like it. Y'all like to be at work. You like to be tinkering. You like to be in your element. And I see you in your element this week. And then we've got the Four of Cups. So yeah, with you being in your element, I see you sort of being apathetic to everything else. This may kind of be to your detriment. Don't allow yourself to get so caught up in this that you miss something. Remember I said before on Friday, we've got Venus, sextile Uranus, and we've got the moon in Virgo. Remember I said, this may be you wanting to stay home and work on your stuff and be in your normal Virgo element. Meanwhile, It's like the universe is giving you a surprise here, a surprise outing, a surprise something that would make you feel good. But you're just like, no, let me just do this. I feel like if that's the case, you definitely need to get out of your comfort zone, get from behind your desk, get from behind your computer, and go out. Explore what this cup is. Maybe this cup is bullshit, right? But you're not going to know unless you go out there and experience it. So do that this week. Be a little spontaneous. Be out of your element a little bit. And I feel like it'll definitely benefit you this week. All right. Next up, we've got Libra. Let's see what we've got for Libra. You've got 2 as well. So the first card, we've got the Queen of Wands. I'm hearing this may be someone that may be a little overbearing, someone that's quite fiery, very confident, someone who I get the sense that you feel like they either antagonize you or you inflame them. You know how air, when you add air to a fire, it just grows, right? Fire needs oxygen. And something about this, your relationship with this fiery person ignites things, okay? And we've got the 3 of Cups. This is sort of like the message to Virgo, but in a different way. This relationship with this person feels overbearing. It feels like conflict. It feels like strife. It just feels like having your feet to the fire. And Spirit is like, you know what? Take your mind off things and just go chill for a little bit. Like the same thing. Like I feel like because you guys, the relationship sign, relationships are your element. And so you feel like your dealings with this person are vital or are necessary this week. And Spirit is like, yeah, it's really not. Like just go party, go get a drink, go enjoy yourself. Stop being in your head. Stop thinking that this person is priority, or this could actually represent a situation also. It doesn't necessarily need to be a fiery person. It could be a fiery situation that you feel needs your attention. And Spirit is like, well, don't shirk your responsibilities. Like, don't do any of that, but go have some fun. Have some fun. Have some lighthearted energy. Also, part of your nature is being social. And some of you haven't been social for the sake of this relationship with this person or this situation. Get back to yourself, get social, and have fun this week. It'll lighten the mood with this person and lighten your mood in general. Next up, we've got Scorpio. Even as I gave that reading, Libra, I'm like hot right now. Like my ears are hot. Like you feel like, oh, is this person talking shit about me? Or blah, 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 blah. Like you like hot-headed, just hotness. There's too much hotness here. You need to cool that down with some socializing and some other shit. All right. Next up, we've got Scorpio. Let's see what we've got for Scorpio for this week. All right, Scorpio, we've got the 4 of Pentacles. I want to say that this has been the energy you've been in for a while. Y'all are holding on to something. You guys are either working on something and you're like tight-lipped about it, or you're like saving your money or saving your energy. Like some of you have kind of been a little withdrawn, I'm getting. Like you're just like, I'd rather not spend my money on this. I'd rather not spend my energy on this. Like I'd rather just like conserve. You guys are in this space of conservation. And so you definitely don't want to waste your energy on things that are bullshit. You don't want to waste your money on anything. But make sure that this is not coming from a place of fear or of insecurity. So like with the money example, like it's one thing to say, I'm not going to spend my money on this because I'm saving for this, or I'm trying to invest in this. It's another thing to be like, I'm saving my money because the world is coming to an end. We're in a recession, blah, 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 blah. Nah, don't approach it from that. Be like, listen, I have things I want to do. That's why I'm conserving my energy. I have places I want to go. I've got people I want to meet. So I'm not going to waste my energy or my resources on some bullshit. Okay. And I feel like this is a good position for you. You guys are feeling very grounded right now, very stable, very secure. All right. Some of you are kind of cocooning, maybe nesting a little bit, like preparing for the future. Again, I also hear like you guys are being tight-lipped. You're not really letting anyone in, and that's a good thing. You guys kind of want to protect what it is you're building, what it is you're doing. You also don't want to talk to people because you don't want people like hitting you up for money or telling you, yo, let's go here, let's go there, and making you feel like you need to spend your money to go out. Like, just stay in this conservation energy. I feel like this is the time for you to build yourself up, build up whatever you're doing so that come, when it is time to pop out, when it is time to do what you need to do, you've got the resources, you've got the physical energy, you have the mental clarity, like everything is full. Your bank account is full, your battery is full, and you're in a good place. So I feel like you guys are in a really good place right now. Okay. That was Scorpio. Next up, we've got Sag. Let's see what we've got for Sag for this week. All right, Sag, you've got 2 as well. Some of you have been on a time out. I'm hearing like a cool down period. So you may have been in a situation where things were very hot, like lots of activity, lots of stuff, right? And some of you, like, it's interesting that I was just saying to Scorpio about like your battery being full. Some of you are currently charging your battery right now. And it's not lost on me that Scorpio had the 4 of Pentacles. You have the 4 of Swords. So whereas Scorpio was conserving their money or their resources, I think that you are at a place where you are conserving your words. You're conserving who you talk to. You're also cocooning, but you're like healing. Okay. Some of you, this may be as the result of an argument. Like this may be a cool down period from an argument where you're kind of just like settling your mind and your spirit. But some of you are in a place where y'all are just chilling right now after a period that was very busy or maybe even very strenuous in terms of needing a lot of physical energy. Okay. Yeah, because we have the 2 of Pentacles. So y'all were juggling 2 things. 2 different physical things required your attention. And some of you may have been juggling for a minute. And that juggling not only made you tired physically, it also made you tired mentally. And so I feel like this week is going to be a good week to, clear your mind, but also get very clear. Okay. Because maybe it serves you to be juggling these 2 things. Fine. But maybe you need to come to a decision as to which one is more valuable. What is more important? Where should I put all of my energy? One of the things about Mars energy is that it's laser-like focus. It's directed focus. This is not directed focus. This is juggling. This is sort of all over the place. Mars may be asking you, what do you really want? Maybe you really want to be juggling these 2. And if so, then that's fine too. But maybe Mars is going to this week make you choose. Make you choose. And I feel like some of you are just getting your mind right this week and you're figuring out which one of these deserves your time, energy, and efforts. Okay. Next up, we've got Capricorn. Let's see what we've got for Capricorn for this week. All right, Capricorn, you've got 2 as well. So we've got the Knight of Pentacles. So you guys are slowly but surely working towards something. But I want you to notice, it's almost like this guy is stopped. He's sort of stopped in his tracks. That's what I'm seeing. You've been working towards something, but you've stopped in your tracks. And you're like, should I continue with this? I don't really know. Is this worth my time? Is this what I really want to do? Is this going to bring me the most money? And so you're at a pause right now. And then we've got the Strength card. And this Mars and Leo energy is going to tell you, well, keep moving if you're moving in the direction of what you really like. Or if you're moving in the direction of where your heart is guiding you. Some of you have been moving in a direction that was merely good on paper, that was lucrative financially, but it may not have been what you want. May not be what your heart's truest desire is. And I feel like this week is going to present opportunities for you to get clear on what's in your heart. It may even jostle you in a way that requires you to have courage to follow your heart. Okay. So Take stock of what direction you're going in and why. And is it in alignment with your heart and your truest desires? I feel like that's what's going on for you this week. And this is the question that you are going to be answering. Okay. And then next up, we've got Aquarius. Let's see what we have for Aquarius for this week. All right, Aquarius, we've got the 9 of Wands. Okay, you guys are feeling a little beat up, a little battered, a little lethargic. Some of you, I'm hearing you feel like life has just been tossing you around and you're kind of tired. And I feel like some of you this week, you are going to finally get sick and tired of being sick and tired. This may be the week that kicks you into high gear to stop feeling like this, to stop doing things that make you feel like this, things that you felt you had no control over. I feel like you're going to be presented with situations, whether with people or circumstances, that are going to empower you, but they're going to require you to have the courage to keep pushing. Like some of you, because you feel like life has knocked you around, you just want to lay down. Like you don't want to fight. You don't want to put forth any effort because you feel like you've been putting forth effort. But I'm here to tell you that perhaps the effort that you've been putting forth has been from a place of disempowerment. And moving from disempowerment is never a good thing. And I feel like this is the week where you are going to be strengthened from the inside out and you're going to find your power. You're going to find your voice, but it's going to require the courage and the fortitude to do that. So this is not the week to lay down. This is not the week to give up. This is the week to keep pushing. And this is the week to find your power. Whether you've got to take it by force from somebody, whether you need to remind somebody of who the fuck you are, you need to do that this week, and you need to find your inner power and your inner voice and keep pushing, because this is not the end. And this is not how things are meant to be for you. You don't want it to be like that anyway. So this is the time for you to really be courageous enough to go after what you want and find your inner power and your inner voice. And last but certainly not least, we've got Pisces. Let's see what we've got for Pisces for this week. Pisces. Here's the good news. The worst is over. Here's the other good news. You can wake up from this. You can decide to take out all of these swords. But you have to decide that you want to. They're not going to come out on their own. You're not dead. You're not left for dead. This is the worst has possibly happened already. Now you can take out these swords and you can move on with your life. But it's all up to you. It all depends on how you look at this. If you think you've been left for dead, then guess what? You have been. If you think that you can get up, take out those swords and mend yourself and have a better life, then you can do that too. But the choice is yours. But like I said, the good thing is that the worst is over. It can only get better from here if you will allow it to. It's all about how you look at the situation, how you think about the situation, and how you think about the future. But you can get up from this. This is not something that has killed you. It is, yes, what doesn't kill us make us stronger, of course. But this isn't the end. It's not even the end by a long shot. So get up, clean yourself up, mend those wounds, and keep going, because the worst is most definitely behind you. All right, my loves. So that concludes this edition of the weekly Astro Forecast. I sincerely hope that you were able to get at least one important piece of information that you can use going into this week. And speaking of this week, I wish you nothing but good health, wealth, abundance, joy, love, and blessings, and everything. I mean, everything that your heart truly desires. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you want to know about my services, products, all of that stuff is in the description box below. Again, thanks for tuning in, and I will see you next time. All right, my loves, take care.